There is a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from physical labor or long days. It comes from being constantly connected, from waking up to notifications, moving through endless messages, and falling asleep with a screen still glowing nearby. Even on days when you haven't done very much, you feel strangely drained. This fatigue is quiet. It's not dramatic burnout. It's a dull sense of being scattered, pulled in too many directions at once. We spend hours online, yet feel rarely present, always reachable, yet rarely settled. Most people assume the solution is to quit technology altogether, to unplug completely or escape the digital world. But that's not realistic for most of us, and it's not what Buddhist wisdom points toward. The problem is not the phone, the screen, or the internet itself. It's the unconscious way we relate to them. In Buddhism, suffering doesn't come from tools. It comes from losing awareness in our relationship with them. Presence is not something reserved for retreats or quiet places. It is available even here, even now. What if you don't need to escape your phone to feel free? What if you only need to meet it differently? Modern life asks for our attention constantly. Notifications arrive without pause. Messages expect quick replies. Feeds refresh endlessly. Even when nothing urgent is happening, the body stays alert, as if something might demand a response at any moment. This constant responsiveness fragments attention. The mind rarely settles long enough to feel whole. Instead, it jumps from one small demand to another, never fully resting. Over time, this creates digital fatigue, not just mental tiredness, but nervous system overload. And yet, many people blame themselves. They think they're lazy, unfocused, or weak for feeling drained. But Buddhist wisdom offers a very different understanding. Fatigue is not a personal failure. It is a signal. When the mind is scattered, suffering naturally increases. Not because we are doing something wrong, but because the nervous system was never designed to stay on all the time. Being constantly reachable creates a subtle background tension, a tightness we stop noticing because it feels normal. In Buddhist teachings, a restless mind is not a moral problem. It's a condition that needs care. Just as the body becomes exhausted when overworked, the mind becomes fatigued when it never returns to presence. This is why digital fatigue often feels confusing. You may not be physically tired, yet you feel depleted. You may not be busy, yet you feel overwhelmed. The key shift is gentle but powerful. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" we begin asking, "What does this part of me need?" From that question, a different relationship becomes possible. One based not on force or control, but on awareness, compassion, and care. And that is where real relief begins. When the digital world feels overwhelming, the mind looks for an exit. Silence, stillness, escape. But Buddhist practice offers something far more practical, an anchor you already have with you, the breath. The breath is the most accessible doorway back to presence. You don't need to log off, change your environment, or wait for a quiet moment. You can return to the breath while holding your phone, reading a message, or sitting in front of a screen. Presence does not require withdrawal from life. It requires awareness within it. In Buddhist teaching, awareness brings the mind back into the body. And when the mind returns to the body, tension begins to soften naturally. Let's try a simple practice now, a 60-second digital detox breath. You can do this while watching without closing anything. First, let your shoulders drop slightly. Then take a slow breath in through the nose and a longer breath out through the mouth. On the exhale, imagine the body settling just a little. Take a second breath, in and out. Notice the sensation of breathing, the air, the movement, the gentle rhythm. Now a third breath. Nothing to fix, nothing to improve. just noticing. That's it. One conscious breath interrupts digital autopilot. It breaks the chain of unconscious reacting and reminds the nervous system that you are here, now, and safe. Throughout the day, you can return to this anchor in tiny moments, before opening an app, after reading a message. When your eyes feel tired, you don't need long meditations. You need frequent returns. In Buddhism, small moments of presence accumulate. They quietly rebuild steadiness. Over time, the breath becomes a refuge, not away from technology, but within it. You don't have to escape the digital world to feel grounded. You only have to remember how to come back. One of the most exhausting parts of digital fatigue is not the screen itself. It's the constant inner struggle around it. The silent self-criticism. Why am I checking again? What's wrong with me? I should have more control. From a Buddhist perspective, this shame is unnecessary and unhelpful. The urge to check your phone is not a personal failure. It is a conditioned response. The mind has learned over time that stimulation brings relief, distraction, or comfort. When pressure rises or boredom appears, the habit activates automatically. Fighting this urge often makes it stronger. The more you tell yourself, I shouldn't, the more tension builds. And tension feeds compulsion. Buddhist practice offers a gentler approach, compassionate awareness. The next time you feel the urge to check, pause for just a moment. Instead of obeying it or suppressing it, simply name it quietly. There is the urge to check. Not my weakness, not my problem, just an urge. This small shift changes everything. When you name the urge without judgment, you step out of it. You are no longer inside the habit, you are observing it. Notice how the urge feels in the body. Is it restlessness, tightness, a pull in the chest or hands? Stay curious, not critical. In Buddhism, observation weakens compulsion. When an impulse is seen clearly, it begins to lose its authority. You may still choose to check, but now it is a choice, not a reflex. This is the key reframe. Freedom is not control. Freedom is choice. Each time you notice an urge without immediately acting on it, you create a small space, and in that space, presence grows. You don't need to eliminate habits to be free. You only need to meet them with awareness and kindness. Over time, the urge softens. Not because you fought it, but because you finally stopped judging it. How you begin your morning quietly shapes your entire day, not just your schedule, but your nervous system. Before a single email is read or message answered, the mind is already learning how alert, rushed, or grounded it needs to be. Many people start the day by reaching for their phone. Notifications arrive before awareness. News, messages, and demands flood the mind before the body has even fully woken up. This creates a subtle tension that carries forward, making the rest of the day feel reactive rather than intentional. Buddhist wisdom places great importance on beginnings. The first moments after waking are seen as fertile ground, a time when the mind is open and easily shaped. What you place there matters. A presence. First morning does not require long meditation or discipline. 5 minutes is enough. Before touching a screen, sit quietly. You might hold a warm cup of tea, stand near a window, or simply rest on the edge of the bed. Bring attention to the breath. Feel the body arriving into the day. Let light enter your eyes naturally. This is not about achieving calm. It is about establishing relationship. You are meeting the day before it meets you. In Buddhism, intention at the beginning of an action influences everything that follows. When the day begins with awareness, the mind is less easily pulled into urgency. Digital demands still come, but they arrive into a steadier space. Over time, this small ritual creates an identity shift. You are no longer someone who wakes into pressure. You are someone who wakes into presence. The world does not need to be checked immediately for you to belong to it. When you begin the day rooted in awareness, technology becomes something you use, not something that uses you. A calm morning is not a luxury, it is a foundation. Even when the body stops moving, the mind often keeps scrolling. Messages linger, images replay, conversations echo. This is digital residue, the quiet after effect of being connected all day. And when it isn't released, it follows us into rest. Many people struggle with sleep not because they are tired, but because the mind has not been told that the day is over. In Buddhist practice, endings matter as much as beginnings. Just as a bell signals the start of meditation, the mind needs a clear signal that it is safe to let go. Without this signal, rest feels incomplete. An evening ritual does not need to be elaborate. 10 minutes of intentional unplugging is enough to create closure. Begin by putting devices away, not as a punishment but as an act of care. Let the eyes rest from light and movement. Sit or lie down comfortably and bring attention to the breath. Notice the body releasing the weight of the day. A simple gratitude reflection can gently shift the nervous system. Recall 1 or 2 moments that felt steady, kind, or quiet, even if the day was difficult. Gratitude does not deny hardship, it softens the mind's grip on it. Gentle stretching or slow breathing helps the body complete its stress cycle. Roll the shoulders, lengthen the spine, let the exhale grow slightly longer than the inhale. This tells the body that vigilance is no longer needed. Buddhist wisdom teaches that rest is not indulgence, it is wisdom. The mind that never settles cannot see clearly. The body that never rests cannot heal. When you close the day with intention, sleep becomes deeper and thoughts lose their sharpness. You are no longer carrying the entire day into the night. Let rest be an offering, not something earned, but something allowed. Buddhist practice has never been about escaping the world. It has always been about learning how to meet the world wisely. Technology is no different. The problem is not that devices exist. The problem is how unconsciously we relate to them. Presence does not require strict rules, digital detoxes, or perfect habits. It grows through consistency, through small, repeatable moments of awareness woven into ordinary life. This is how practice becomes sustainable. You can think of presence like a bank account. Each mindful breath, each conscious pause before checking your phone, each moment of awareness during screen time is a small deposit. On its own, it may feel insignificant, but over time, these deposits accumulate into steadiness, clarity, and calm. Some days you will forget. Some days you will scroll more than you intended. This is not failure. Buddhism is not rigid. It does not ask for purity. It asks for return. Each time you notice distraction and gently come back, the practice is working. Awareness is already present in that noticing. Technology can coexist with mindfulness. You can breathe while typing. You can notice posture while reading messages. You can pause before responding. Presence is not something you do after life is quiet. It is something you bring into noise. The identity shift is subtle but powerful. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not losing your attention forever. You are learning to return, and every return, no matter how small, strengthens the mind's capacity for presence. Over time, this changes how life feels, even when the world stays busy. You do not need to escape modern life to feel peace. You do not need to live perfectly, unplug completely, or meditate for hours. Presence is not achieved. It is practiced again and again in small moments. Even one conscious breath can soften a tense day. Even one pause can restore choice. Even one moment of awareness can remind you that you are here. Digital fatigue does not mean you are failing. It means something in you is asking to be met more gently. If this reflection resonated with you, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like to continue exploring Buddhist wisdom for living with clarity and calm in the modern world, consider subscribing to the channel. You are always allowed to return. Presence is still possible. Right now.